All right, so hello, Carlos. How you doing?
Hello, Emmanuel. Good to hear you. Fine, I'm doing well here in Washington, D.C.
All right, perfect. So you're a lecturer at the Catholic University. I'm going to be asking you a few questions related to, some topics under that, and I'll be, asking for your perspectives, your opinions, just very briefly on these questions, and let's get right into it. Um, all right, so the first question, do you believe that a nation needs a strong moral or religious foundation to remain stable? Or can secular values alone sustain a society? So what do you think?
Well, I think that for sure we need strong values to underpin our society. But I will say that moral, religious, and secular values, if they are true values, genuine values, there cannot
Okay.
be any contradiction. Must be a kind of so everyone has the moral, religious, and secular background. Everyone, no? What is best is giving freedom to seek what is best for everyone. Uh, so it means a
Hmm.
secular approach in which every religion, everyone has the possibility of growing as a human being, as a spiritual being too. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you want
Okay.
to be deeper in anything?
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's a very precise answer. Okay, let's go to the next question. So in the United States, religion influences politics, education, even social issues. So the question I have right now is, has that influence actually been beneficial or has it made things more divisive?
Well, uh, it depends what kind of things are you talking about. Here in the United
Oh,
States, there is
yes.
transparency. That's good. At least a bit
Okay.
more than in other countries. I mean, everyone knows everything. Uh,
Okay.
Public servants can proclaim their faith in meetings. That is a thing that I haven't seen in, in Europe, starting with a prayer and mentioning God in the speeches. Well, that for me is good because we cannot be
Okay.
two heads, no? One for politics and public space, and another for our family and private sphere. No, we are the same human being in both forums, no, public and private forum. So what we need is to be coherent. I mean, in our religion, in our belief, as a
Okay.
human being, in our morality, and with a secular background for sure. No, we cannot ask to split in three minds anyone. No,
Hmm.
I mean, what we need is to ask for coherence to everyone.
Okay.
So,
Okay, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Permit me, I want to ask a follow-up on this particular question, and this topic is a bit more controversial in the US, so it's all right if you don't want to answer this particular one. That's totally fine. But you mentioned that I, I should kind of like, more about what the kind of influences that religion has had, especially in the US and in Nigeria as well, actually. So this particular topic now,
hmm,
this is the topic of abortion. No matter how we want to look at it, the issue of abortion in both the US, in Nigeria, and in so many other parts of the world influenced by religion. A lot of persons will say, oh, your body and your choice, or the child life the child has a right to his life and all that, all the arguments and everything. It's largely based on religion. It's largely based on beliefs and values, and it has actually created a very long an ageless argument. So what I want to ask, I'm not asking wrong. What I want to ask is, religion can actually be the basis for which we make the assumption or make the decision decision stance to take? Or should another sort of influence be the foundation? Or is religion a good foundation for such a decision? Tell me.
Yeah, I do believe that in a democracy,
Yes.
every single view is valid,
Okay.
which means it doesn't matter if you want to justify your view because, I don't know, it's your opinion, or you
Okay.
have a doubt, or is based on morality, is based on whatever you want, no? I mean, because every human being will have all these backgrounds, the morality, the view of God, and this kind of thing. And if that is truly a democracy, you cannot exclude anyone because of religion. That will be
Hmm.
discrimination.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
so that is very important. Now, as a lawyer, I will say that the strongest arguments that convince other people will be those that are based on topics in the sense of the topica of Aristotle, in common understandings. So, in an
Hmm.
homogeneous society where everyone is sharing the same creed, religion, you can introduce easily and you will be able to convince others. In a society when you have so many religions, as here in the United States, normally uh, you can introduce a minimum, for example, that if you believe in God, because everyone believes in God here, no? Or at least the great majority, the great majority, with a different religion, but yeah. So you use what is common, trying to convince others. And obviously you need to be based on science and that normally is shared with everyone and many other arguments. But one thing is using something that is common that could be ethics or not. Many times there are many battles on ethics. Could be cultural values or not. I mean, in more homogeneous societies, you use culture, no? African culture, I mean, you have many elements of unity, although you have many tribes and many languages and many cosmovisions there, but you have a community sense that unites you. So I will say every single society will see what is common to develop the arguments for each society. But that's the way of convincing. Quite different is democracy. Democracy is no matter what is your opinion, how do you justify that, you have the same vote as anyone. So every single argument is valid. I mean, if you the other thing is not so the efficacy of that argument will be reduced, but it doesn't means that the argument doesn't count. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. The next that I have for you, um, is on the topic of homosexuality and the LGBTQI movement and all the likes. Basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that the major religions, in the world, most of them um, are more on the line of heterosexuality, between a man and a woman, different genders, so that's for most religions, so what role, especially in America, does, because I know presently right now, homosexuality is legal in major states in America. So what role does religion actually play in the LGBTQI movement? Does it, majorly support it? Is it against it? What role basically does it play? Does religion play? Or is
Yeah.
religion more of hands off? Yeah.
So I can say three things. 1 century ago, every
Okay.
religion will support a traditional view of marriage
Yes.
because family and children were a good thing to have. Today,
Okay.
the idea of having children as a good, something good for us, is not so clear for many. Most people will believe that is a burden that doesn't help so much. Yeah.
Okay.
So with that view, I mean, what is sex for? Well, now it's not related to the family, but
Hmm.
to new kind of families, to for other things. Yeah, so
Okay.
that is very interesting. The new notion of what is sex for, no? So I will say that from a religious point of view, I mean, any religion will have a wisdom to share. And most popular religions normally will find more true, because that's why more people will follow that religion. So
Okay.
because there is an incredible truth there. I don't know right now how many numbers religions approve or not same-sex marriage. Uh, I will say that the traditional ones that in population still have the classical point of view. The major religions in population, the majority of people that follow any religion will agree with a traditional view of family. So,
Yes.
but in any case, I'm talking especially for the Christian and Catholic point of view. Uh, I
Okay.
will say that both are rooted in what they realize that is good for the family, for children. I mean, same-sex marriage cannot uh, have children. They have to adopt.
Yeah. You have to
And
adopt. Yes.
adopting, I mean, they say that is the worst possible thing for children. And that's a study of Mark Regnarius that checked with hard data, with things that you cannot discuss. In any kind of family, I can give you the graphics later, so you can include if you want video.
Okay.
For example, how many committing suicide children, no? And you realize that in traditional families, one man, one woman, the level is almost nothing. No? And instead, in two mothers or two fathers, well, the rates are peaking and the committing suicide is incredible. Then people
Wow.
arrested, children arrested,
Oh, wow.
children smoking drugs, children with depression, and all of them, the worst family, I mean, the worst part for the children are for the same-sex marriage, because there is
Hmm.
something strange there. I mean, that is not common, no?
Yeah.
And you realize that
Yeah.
the amount of money that the state must pay in health with this kind of children always is more also in the same-sex marriage who adopted one child, no? There is just one exception. One exception is in depression. Depression, the family, I mean, who adopted someone, I mean, could be same-sex marriage or not, okay. So what I mean is religions normally use, in both cases, if they approve or not LGBT approach, the LGBT approach will be based on this kind of data, saying what is
Okay.
good for the human being. Perhaps religions will use these arguments and back also with the Bible, with the Vedas, with the sacred book of each religion. And you realize, well, yeah, normally you have a wisdom. Uh, wisdom that was developed over 1,000 years most of the time in the big religions, no? Or 2,000 or 3,000 even, no? And you're like, well, there is something wise here, and that's why it's good to hear what's there, no?
Okay. All right, that's a brilliant answer. That's a brilliant answer. Um, okay, let me ask a follow-up question to that. So basically, it means that the same-sex marriage and just like you said, and homosexuality, it does not really support the the concept of family as a traditional home would, with a man and a woman and a child. It doesn't really support some of those shared roles. It might even be detrimental in the examples that you've mentioned. Um, but another argument that some persons would bring out is one, that the same-sex marriage are helping, those kids who they are adopting, because, those kids don't have a home. So adopting is kind of like helping, the society and all that. And then they also argue that same-sex marriage, that God would, not discriminate, or they say that, okay, that it's God loves everyone, so it doesn't really matter whether you are heterosexual or bisexual or even transgender, or if whatever you choose to do with your body, they argue it along those lines. So what would you say to that?
So I will say two things.
Okay.
First one, that what the family is, the notion that is very interesting.
Okay.
So let's go to the animal kingdom. I mean, what a family is there, no? The one who
Okay.
shares blood, flesh, life, and it's related to life. This is related. If you don't give birth to life, well, this could be another analogous, similar notion of family, but it's not the most important notion of family. You see a family
Okay.
of, I don't know, pig, giraffe, elephant. I mean, why do you say that there
Okay.
is a family?
Hmm.
Normally, because and that is also related to the definition of species, no? Interbreed. I
Okay.
mean, if you can have a specific relationship and the DNA follows,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
you have a new individual here, well, you have a family there, of birth,
Okay.
of plants, whatever you want, no? Well, that is the most important notion of family. You can say also that there is a family of paintings because all of them are in blue. Yeah, but it's not the most important notions, no? So we can use also a family, the notion family, for three nuns that live in a convent. Yeah, yeah, why not? Probably could be, but it's not the original notion, no? So the same if you say, well, two people that kiss each other, or three or four, why not 10 or this kind of thing, why not? And second, in the most important notion of family, you need to procreate, and I mean, it's a thing related to the blood.
Yeah.
Even in man and woman, when they in the sexual intercourse, I mean, they share many things. That is very interesting, no? This is well, in medicine they studied, well, is psychology, but even also things of the flesh, and over time they developed similar things. I mean, this is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
interesting. I want to share, if I can, the study that I mentioned here.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the study of Mark Regnarus.
Okay.
So as I told you, here you have step family, single parent, two fathers, two mothers, divorced and adopted. So you can see here, arrested, no? Which is the best one?
Yeah.
The intact family. Which is the worst one? Well, you can see there, no?
Yeah.
And so they pled guilty, the same, no? Public assistance, money, no? So now two mothers is the worst. They need tons of money. Instead, the
Oh,
typical family is best for is the state, no? uh, unemployment. And that is incredible, no? Things that you cannot discuss. There are things that you can say, no, they feel great. Well, if they feel great, why the rate of suicide is this? So with two fathers, the rate of suicide is 5 times more than in the intact family, you know? Therapy. I mean, money that you here is the thing that I told you, no? And now the adopted are the worst because well
okay.
that's the only case, no? In depression, the worst these two, and the best the intact family, no? Touched sexually, well, that you see that this in these communities, these kind of things
Mm.
are not secured, no? At the same,
Okay.
at least at the same level of the intact family. Forced sex,
Yeah.
once again, these two communities are not the best one, no? The best one always is the intact family, no? So,
Wow.
so
Wow. The lesbian is 31%.
yeah, even smoking, just smoking, no?
Oh
Um,
my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my.
so,
Oh my.
arrested,
That's pretty
yeah.
high.
So that is, I think that is a beautiful news for the good family. For
Mm.
you realize that no matter if the argument is religious or not, I mean, is good.
The facts don't lie. Yeah.
Why are try to follow the intact family, no? More or less,
Yes.
because
Yes.
there was something that they realized that was good, no?
Yes. 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 All right, Mr. Carlos, this has been truly, truly insightful. Just as we round up, I have one more question uh that I
Yes.
think would be very helpful. Um, from a governmental standpoint, okay, there are two questions I'm gonna ask in one. Okay, so on the first one is that should the government be more involved in, the religious aspect of the people in their, should the government be more involved? Should the government, just be aloof and, let people just do whatever they want? Or should they, kind of like the direct the flow to a particular religion, just being more involved, basically, whatever that outcome leads to, should they be? And secondly, should the persons in the government themselves, you know, be religious people, or should they be just basically kind of like um central, or more uh more non-theistic, if you get my point, not really towing towards a line of any particular religion. Which one of the two do you think would be more,
Mm.
beneficial?
So, yeah, for me, the people of the government,
Okay.
it doesn't matter in a democracy, especially what kind of religion. I will ask just to be coherent. If they are Muslim, be
Okay.
coherent Muslims. If they are, I don't know, Christians or any other religion, well, try to be coherent. I mean, you can not say the parliament when you went man everywhere. No, obviously,
Okay.
as I told you, in the parliament, you is good first to show your identity, transparency. The United States has many good things and many bad things, but transparency is a good thing. I will say probably in Nigeria you protect more other religious freedoms, but here people are transparent more than in other places. No. Eh, I will put also Nigeria as an example in many other rights, I will say. You have freedom to talk about any religion in the public space. You don't have that much freedom
Yeah.
in Europe or in the States related to the schools. It's very specific, this. So more than one religion or another democracy, you choose the guy in who you trust, no, not in another. So if you trust in someone, it's because whatever you want, because he is a follower of this religion or he's an atheist. But the people is choosing him because of something. So what we ask is coherence.
Mm.
Is yeah. Say second, related to the first topic, that the government must be engaged with religions for sure. I mean, there are many things that is unavoidable. I mean, that you have to deal with them. For example, all the schools, all the hospitals, uh, many universities. uh, it's incredible. Are run by missionaries, nuns, religious groups. And that's good.
Yeah.
That saves so much money to the state. That's wonderful. So for sure, there are mixed topics that
Okay.
is the state has a certain power to regulate and different religious groups too, and that saves so much money and this kind of thing. So what? Another question: do they have to foster, even pay for these kind of things? Well, that is an economical question. You're allowed to have to spend this amount of money with the public service. I just give a small amount to this school and I save this amount of money. Yeah, I think that is worth it. It's worth it. So
Yeah.
uh, that is interesting. So to who you have to help and in which amount, to those who help the society in the same amount that they help. If any religion, for example, has 300 schools, probably you have to support a bit more that religion. If someone just has one school, well, probably less, no? So I will reframe the question. I mean, you have to support more those religions who contribute more to the common good than those who contribute less. Okay?
Yes. Mm.
So,
Yeah.
uh, given that, I will stress now that it's important to protect freedom to
Mm.
believe in anything. So, but that is an individual freedom. So,
Mm.
I mean, you secure that in the schools, in the hospitals, in the state,
Yeah.
everyone could be coherent
Yes.
according to their conscience, to their own conscience, to their own religion, to their own family, to their own tribe, to their own
Right.
culture, to their own cosmovision. Uh,
Mm.
and I think that you have wonderful examples in Africa about that,
Yeah.
and also well,
Yes.
many many issues everywhere in the world. But you have more freedom, religious freedom in Africa than in other countries, I would say.
Oh, that's really nice of you to say. Thank you so much, Carlos. This has been amazing. This has been so amazing. We will conclude now, and I just want to appreciate, your points, your perspectives, and for being on set today. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for inviting me to be part of this program. I'm happy to share these words. Have a
All
great day.
right.